dig in and really understand what's happening, and we're meeting just in a couple days with our contractor community. We're meeting with the workers that are working on these projects, meeting with DOT to unpack, like, why are these costs coming in above. We're going to be spending some time in committee to really understand what is causing these increases. But the 520 project has been going on for almost 20 years. We're in the final phase. It's the last piece. The neighborhoods of Montlake and up to I-5 have been living in a construction zone for a long time. We can't stop now. We've got to finish the project. So we need to come up with a way to identify the resources. It's not $700 million this year. It's spread out over the final phase of the project. But we got to figure out why the costs are going up, and we got to make sure we're holding communities whole.
Right. A lot of challenges, a lot of important issues. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator. Appreciate it. And there you go about transportation. Again, so much to do in the next 60 days or so. They don't have a lot of time, but of course, we are going to continue to follow the most important topics here in the legislature. For now, I'm Hannah Kim in Olympia.
Great report, Hannah. Thank you. Fox 13 will have complete coverage of the start of the new legislative session. Right now on our website, we're breaking down the biggest issues on lawmakers' docket and the changes you could see.
Seattle police are searching for a suspect in a stabbing. It happened today at the Rocks Hill neighborhood near the intersection of Southwest Barton Street and 26th Avenue Southwest. Officers say one person had to be taken to the hospital, is in stable condition. There's no word on what led up to the stabbing. So far, there's no suspect information that's been released.
The AG's office is once again going after 3 Michigan brothers accused of defrauding thousands of small businesses in our state. According to the AG's office, the Fado brothers operated under the company name of Labor Law Poster Service. They would send letters that look like bills from a government agency telling businesses they need to pay for workplace posters. These are posters that businesses with employees are required to display. For example, posters about workers' rights or safety requirements, but these posters can generally be downloaded for free. The AG's office has already taken action against the brothers twice before, with the brothers paying over $1 million, but the new lawsuit comes after they allegedly continued their actions, sending more than 325,000 solicitations.
It's not easy being a small business owner. You've got a lot going on. The last thing you need in your life, I suspect, is a group of individuals in another state bombarding you with a deceptive mailer that looks like a legitimate bill that you pay when you don't actually owe that money.
Ferguson says his office looks forward to seeking an injunction to put a stop to this and getting restitution for business owners.
A federal court in Seattle approved a settlement providing protections for thousands of asylum seekers. Immigration advocates say asylum seekers can sometimes remain detained for months before being screened to apply for asylum. They say plaintiffs in the case specifically challenge delays for so-called credible fear interviews. That's when asylum officers determine if a person is seeking asylum due to a fear of persecution or torture. With this new settlement, advocates say anyone who experiences a delay of more than 60 days will be able to have their case immediately transferred to an immigration judge.
Israel says it's shifting its focus to central and southern Gaza, bringing new tactics to the fight after 3 months of heavy civilian casualties. Alex Hogan has more from Tel Aviv.
After 3 months of intense fighting, Israel says its Gaza offensive is officially entering a new phase. An IDF spokesperson claims the Hamas threat is mostly eliminated in the north, and now the military will turn its attention to central and southern Gaza. But they say this phase is expected to be significantly less intense, meaning fewer ground troops, airstrikes, and more targeted attacks.
It might not be the end, but it could be the beginning of the end, because we're seeing the destruction of Hamas's military machine in the northern Gaza Strip.
It could also mean a greater focus on taking out the militant leadership. Last week, a top Hamas commander was killed in Beirut, and on Monday, another targeted assassination. Israel reportedly taking out Hezbollah commander Vissal al-Tawid, who reportedly led the group's most elite fighters. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hinting there could be more to come.
We gave him an example of what is happening to his friends in the south. This is what will happen here in the north. We will do everything to restore security.
But civilians in Gaza are skeptical about this new phase of the war. They say the situation is already so dire, simply ending the airstrikes won't help at this point, and more aid is needed to avoid a humanitarian catastrophe.
I don't know where to stay. I don't know where my children will sleep. Will they sleep on the sand? There is no safe place. There is no hygiene. There is no life.
And U.S. Secretary Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Israel on Monday, pushing for a new potential ceasefire and more aid for civilians. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Still ahead, could hormones be linked to the impact of nausea during pregnancy? What new research shows about the connection?
You get ready to pay up for that sweet treat you might have after dinner. What officials say the price of desserts, or why they say the price of desserts is expected to surge.
Fox 13 Weather is sponsored by your locally owned McDonald's restaurants of Western Washington. Start your day with a BOGO. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg and get a second favorite like hash brown or sausage McGriddle for $1.
Behind every crime is a plethora of problems, and the Spotlight brings them into focus. And when we can, try to help catch the suspect.
The Spotlight on Fox 13 is sponsored by Beacon Plumbing, committed to help fight human trafficking.
Toyota is all about having choices, like more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including this powerful new Tundra with the best resale value in its class.
Toyota also believes in the power of personal choice for reducing carbon emissions, including this built-in-the-USA electrified Tundra Hybrid.
Now choose 4.99 APR financing on any new Tundra, plus get $1,000 bonus cash on 23 Tundras.
The choice is yours. Toyota, let's go places.
A night of icons with the Commodores and the Spinners. Saturday, March 30th. Skookum Creek Event Center at Little Creek Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at littlecreek.com. Grammy winners, the Commodores. And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, the Spinners at Little Creek Casino Resort, where little means more.
I work for the largest credit union in the state of Washington, and they actually partner with WGU. I was talking to my director, and he had suggested that I go back to school since it was fully reimbursed by my company. It was such an easy adjustment, and then the mentorship was so perfect because you have that accountability person that's there checking in on you, making sure you have everything you need. Right after I graduated, I actually just got a promotion at work, which was awesome. My degree really did help. It's just like the best feeling in the world.
The West Coast is the best coast. It's where we planted our roots and created our communities.
Now there's a newscast that helps us all stay connected to the coast we call home.
West Coast Wrap, weeknights at 7 on Fox 13 Plus.
You're celebrating a lot of folks getting together from friends they hadn't seen in 1 or 2 years who flew across the country to come and at least maybe not make it down to Houston, but at least spend some time here together and have this once in a lifetime memorable experience watching the dogs. But here's what they had to say about tonight overall.
Go Dogs! Yeah! This means a lot to me. It's very personal to me. I'm loving this. This season's been magical. Really excited to see what Callum DeBoer has done with the program. We've actually gone to a lot of the games. We traveled down to LA for the USC game. So it's been a great experience and can't wait to beat Michigan. Go! Huskies! Go! Huskies!
Again, the excitement was felt from the beginning of that kickoff to throughout the fourth quarter. There were some nail-biting moments there as well that obviously kept fans glued to the screens. Ultimately, those dogs will come home, but unfortunately, not with the national title they wanted, though they are coming home to a big parade of fans who are welcoming them back home and just excited and happy that they got this far. So overall, it's still a very big and special win for all the Huskies here in Washington. Back to you.
It's an amazing season overall. Let's take a look back now with Alyssa Charleston and what happened tonight on the field. We know how the game ended, but what do you think the turning point here was?
Well, it was right from the start, honestly, David. When you look at how Michigan started this game, they gave up a 41-yard rushing touchdown, wide open gaps. The defense was really exposed, and this Husky defense is 94th in the country. Really today, Michigan completely took advantage. The second drive they had was a 46-yard rushing touchdown, so it was just like bang, bang, painful rushing touchdowns. The Huskies were down 14-0. They're within a touchdown at halftime, though. They kind of pulled back and made it a bit of a game, but they just weren't themselves. And
yeah, they didn't seem like the team that we've known. And even though games have been very close, you know, Penix missing some of the passes, throwing some throws we haven't seen him throw before tonight. Just they seemed a little bit off. But who was the standout player? Who made the biggest impact tonight for the Huskies? For the Huskies, I think Michael Penix unfortunately kind of made the more negative impact, just because you said it. He was just off on his throws. That's so rare. 27 for 51. I mean, this is a guy that, yes, kind of fell off for a little bit after a really hot start for the Huskies. And tonight just wasn't quite accurate. There was a play early on where Rome Odunze was wide open, and it felt like that could be the game changer for the Huskies. And it was just wide right, and it really hurt. For the Michigan Wolverines, the impact player was Blake Corum. 27 carries, 238 rushing yards between him and Donovan Edwards. And that's the guy, Donovan Edwards, who had those first 2 rushing touchdowns. The first quarter just ruined everything for the Huskies because they lose 34-13, but they were down 14-0. They could never make up ground. The crazy part is from quarter 1 to quarter 2, the Huskies made a huge difference. They made a huge adjustment on defense. Michigan averaged 19 yards a rush in the first quarter, down to 4 in the second quarter, and it got better, a little bit worse in the third quarter, but they just could never contain Michigan's run game. Yeah, that Odunze catch, I yelled out because I thought this is going to really fire them up and get them going. Yeah. They just couldn't keep it. They couldn't continue to keep that going. It just didn't seem like there were enough of those plays tonight. No, there weren't, and that's credit to Michigan's defense. They have really good corners. There's a guy that's going to be going in the first round probably from their secondary. The Huskies have not faced a secondary like this Michigan defense brings, and Rome Odunze, yeah, he's still got 87 receiving yards, but he's usually a 100-plus guy, and he is going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft. No touchdowns. They really couldn't get it going. And when he did get a big-time catch early on in the second half, it was pulled back by a penalty. It was a holding call. A little soft, in my opinion. The refs called it on Roger Rosengarten, but that any momentum the Huskies took, it was kind of thwarted by their own. So this team is really like a family. We've seen that all year. What do you think the impact is going to be on them tonight? I think they're heartbroken. I mean, they are so competitive. They told me last year that the national championship was the goal. They really believed that they could get here, and the reason they all came back, really. They had so much experience, more seniors, especially in the age of transfer portals, when you can go anywhere and try and get the experience you want. They trusted Kalen DeBoer, and for good reason, clearly. He led him to a national championship in his second season on Montlake. But they came back. He had to re-recruit some other players, and they're going to be heartbroken tonight, no doubt. And you will lose Michael Penix. You will lose probably Jalen McMillan and no doubt Rome Odunze. A lot of the guys on defense, 3-4 of your offensive linemen, and that was the #1 offensive line in the nation, the Joe Moore Award winners. So they're going to be wrapping their arms around each other. They're still going to be proud of a 14-1 season. Because that's so hard to do. Oh, yeah. Dogs fans are so pumped for them and excited for what they did this season. But I know everybody's disappointed tonight also. Let's talk about coaching. Kalen DeBoer, what are your thoughts tonight? About Kalen DeBoer? Uh-huh. Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, the person he is on the field is exactly who he is in the locker room, with the media. He's such a good coach overall. I would want to play for him. Like, I played for a great coach in college and then professionally overseas, but this guy is on another level. He's getting them ready for the next level of their life, whether they go pro or not. He is bringing in some really good recruiting classes, and I think a really good quarterback. Will Rogers from Mississippi State is the transfer in for next year. He's kind of pinned as the starter unless one of their redshirt freshmen steps up, but he's going to have a really, really healthy team here on Montlake for years to come. All right, great. That's good, because we got a lot of things to look forward to then, hopefully. All right, we've got a lot. Yeah, look at this. Real fast, rushing yards. Michigan, more than 6.5 times the amount of rushing yards that the Huskies had, 46 to 303. That's your story of the game. The Huskies' run defense could not slow down Michigan. Yeah, boy, the numbers tell it, don't they? I tell you. All right. Well, we're going to have a lot of coverage coming up later on, because hopefully we'll hear from the coach. We'll hear from some of the players later on. We've got Aaron Levine as well. He is in Houston covering all this. And we'll get a bunch of coverage and information coming up a little bit later, hopefully on our news, Fox 13 News tonight at 9 o'clock. That's going to be over on Fox 13 Plus, and on Fox 13 at 10 o'clock. We'll have even more reaction and coverage. Of course, we'll hear from more fans. Alyssa Charleston, thanks for breaking it all down for us. Of course. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in for this digital broadcast. We'll continue our coverage a little bit later. Have a great evening. Go Dogs.
The region well below average. We were so warm in December, but yes, winter is here and we are feeling it. So what are we expecting? Well, our average high temperatures for this time of year is about 48 degrees. Forecast highs by the end of the week, upper 20s to low 30s. So it is going to get chilly Thursday all the way into next weekend. Looking at our temperatures this evening, nowhere near that cold, but it is chilly up into the mountain passes. 25 degrees there for Snoqualmie, low 40s for Everett, Seattle, and Bremerton, 34 up towards Bellingham. Wenatchee's in the upper 20s, low 50s out towards the coast. Looking at our forecast for tonight, we've been tracking the rain along with the mountain snow. Widespread showers across western Washington, and of course, those snowy conditions up into the Cascades creating major issues for drivers. We've seen the mountain passes close down at Snoqualmie Pass several times already today. For this evening, they are currently requiring change for all vehicles, not just if you have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, you still are required to have chains. That's what the WashDOT is saying currently. Chains required except all-wheel drive up towards White Pass as well as Stevens Pass. So just be careful if you do need to drive. There is currently a winter storm warning in effect Monday morning through Tuesday morning with several feet of snow expected. And we will see the winds picking up, which will increase problems over the passes driving. For tonight, the winds already starting to pick up 20 to 35 miles per hour around western Washington, North Bend, Everett, Whidbey Island, out towards the coast as well. And with the wind picking up on top of the heavy snow, we do have a blizzard warning in effect starting tomorrow morning through Wednesday morning. We're looking at 1 to 4 feet of snow in total. Wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour. We don't typically see this for our area because we don't usually see all the wind, but this is going to be a heavy snow event with those strong winds. Looking at the futurecast for tonight, here comes that winter cold front moving in, bringing the heavy rain, strong winds around midnight tonight, moving through western Washington. All of that goes into snow up in the mountain passes. Heading into Tuesday, scattered showers do continue. The snow continues as well. We even have a chance of instability, so potentially a pop-up thunderstorm out along the coast. And along with the showers, it's going to be windy as well. All right, here's a look at our overnight forecast. So rain overnight, temperatures dropping into the upper 30s to low 40s. Gusty winds, heavy mountain snow. Tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-40s, a little bit cooler. We'll see a weather alert day for tomorrow for the gusty winds across western Washington. A wind advisory in effect for most of western Washington. We'll also see that blizzard warning. Fewer showers for Wednesday. We do see breezy conditions again for Thursday as another front moves in. Cooler temperatures, there we go, Friday into the weekend. And of course, you get further outside of Seattle and it gets even cooler, but we'll be tracking that for you into this end of the week.
All right, Claire, thank you all for watching. You can watch more news, interviews, and video anytime on our connected TV app.
The Fox Local app is free to download on Fire TV, Apple TV, Google, Android TV, or Roku. Coming up next on the Fox Local app is the West Coast News Wrap, covering regional news up and down the West Coast. We'll see you back here for the news at 10.
Toyota's four brothers have made a name for themselves on and off the road.
Tacoma.